I just want to show some of the damage. This limbs down, little maples and stuff that are bent. I gotta probably take down. I've already been chipping over here. Just chipping into the wood line here, but we got these trees down and twisted up. I'm probably gonna take that dead one down, but there's all kinds of like stuff in the wood line. All these little small pines are just bent and broke everywhere. This is actually another property that I got a call. They called me and asked me to go give them a price on. Same thing happened over there. All these trees are just bent over, broke. But all this, it's just got to go. These pines are broke. So, and even at the bottom, those ones that bent that far, they're not going to straighten back up. So we're just going to be working on this today. I figured I'd take a shot where we're starting. I've got all the stuff around that first cabin cleaned up. This small stuff. Give you an idea how much chipping we're doing. About all the little pines that broke off, I'm just taking out. I'm to the point now where I just gotta pick up some small limbs and just figure I'd take a shot where we're at and go from there. So some stuff that came down through. And the deal with this is these are rentals, so all these people come up here, rent, and walk all through these properties. They escape in the city, they just walk around everywhere, and he's just he calls it dummy. The guy that rents all these calls it dummy proofing them. You can't have it where someone can trip and fall. So even though this is out behind the cabin, you'd think no one would ever be out here. You got to clean up. What I've decided now is I'm going to do a whole spring cleanup here. I normally do the bark mulch, the flowers. I've done other work here. It's normally big work, retaining wall, stuff like that, but this property goes all the way down through. There's the main house on the lake, cabin beside that. This is a new cabin now. They finished it last year. They had a microburst storm come through here a few years back and knocked, it was all these cabins were like this, and that one got knocked off the foundation by big trees that come down. And then there's basically 4 of the originals, and then that new one in the main house. And the property next door, I think, has 1 cabin left from years ago, which is right there. I gave her a price the other day, so I just figured I'd take a shot where we're at, and we're gonna go down front and get rid of some of the birch trees. What we gotta do is we got rid of that last birch. We got to come back and grind that stump. And this bush got pretty messed up from the snow load that we had that last storm. And some of the trees got bent to where they're out in the house. We're going to remove some of those, probably those 2 smaller birches. We're going to try to shape this tree up, but there's a good chance it's coming right out because there's also a retaining wall in there that's failed. Go down around this side. I think this one will be sufficient anyways and look good. But them little birches can go, and that wall we're going to probably do a quick rebuild with 6x6s. He doesn't want to go crazy with it, but we got to get this in shape a little bit. Where these are rentals, and he wants it to look good. And there's a well here that I think that feeds every camp here, so we got to somehow protect that a little bit. But that's what we're going to be working on next, cutting up some of that and go from there. I'm going to show how quick you can come up with a mess. Get those trees off the edge of that house, and we also had to get where we could get at that retaining wall. He doesn't really want to come in here and excavate, and I don't think it's really retaining a heck of a lot. I think what I'm going to do is do something. He just wants to do a 6x6 wall so it matches the rest of the stuff around here. I think I'm going to do a step up 6x6 retaining wall, start down here and then do another one. It's not, and I'll take the ugly timbers that are really rotted, the base of that I'm going to leave right in the ground, and we'll fill behind it. But I think we'll do like a raised bed here, so we'll have like a step up wall. It's not really going to be retaining any weight other than what I fill behind it, but that way we can do some plantings. I'm thinking maybe put some blueberry bushes or something, or if they want some type of rhododendron or something, maybe even another one of these. I do think I'm going to leave it, and what I'm going to do is put some stakes in the ground, tie it up, and I might just take some snips and try to shape it, get some weight off of it, because that's why it laid out and broke everywhere. I just kind of hacked it with a chainsaw, but I'll come in and cut it and treat the ends. I believe what's left there is healthy enough, so if I pull it together, it will still look pretty good. But like I said, this is a rental. They try to keep it simple but decent looking, so when people come here they have a memory. And most people really like being here. I'll show you the waterfront too. I mean, it's a pretty nice part of the lake. You're allowed, when you come here to rent, you can come here and bring a boat with you. I started blowing this stuff across. I've never cleaned this property completely. I've done some gardens. I did that garden on the front of the house a few years ago because some of the trees broke. There's a couple broken limbs over there now. We'll probably shape that up. We got to come back, grind this stump, and there's a couple more I'm going to do while I'm here. He wants to get rid of all the tripping hazards. Probably put new bark mulch along that fence line, and all that good stuff. But I just figured I'd show where we're at. I would have liked to have just keep blowing this onto the tennis court where it's going to be easier to pick up, but we're going to edge this garden, probably re-bark mulch it. We got to rebuild the retaining wall down on the bottom of it. But I'm going to stop right here for now because I want to finish with the chipper today, and I got one more pile of pine stuff on the way out this road, which is actually his driveway to all these. And I want to be done with the chipper today for the rest of this. Well, tomorrow's Friday, but I don't think I'm going to need it again for 4 or 5 days. I got a lot of other stuff. I got to come here and do a complete spring cleanup on all these camps. And we had torrential downpours here, which took all the bark mulch away. Never had these issues before here, and it's just like all of a sudden this year it was just we keep getting, this part of New Hampshire is just getting weirder and weirder weather. Go back on this. I didn't have the camera with me this morning, but we ground that triple white birch stump, and I'm just going to clean up with a leaf blower. I'm going to continue going across. I'll probably take the leaves out of that garden and put everything to the back side of that tennis court for today. And then we're going to try to put some type of shape to this where we can bark mulch and make this look a little bit nicer. I'm going to work on shaping that bush up a little bit better than it is. Found a drainage tile here, which I don't really know what that's all about, but it was underneath 3 or 4 inches of dirt. The plumber was here today, and he suggested not grinding that stump because he doesn't think the wiring to this well. This was all done as seasonal. All but that new place. I believe that new place has got its own well. Other than that, this one well feeds, I think, all these camps. And if he said he's been dealing with this for quite a few years and doesn't think the wire is too far underground, and it comes up from that utility shed. So I don't want to get involved with that. Hit a wire, or same with the water line. He said the water line he thinks is only like 3 inches below ground. Yeah, I think it's funny. I'm here cleaning up. All you hear is leaf blowers in every direction. Everybody's cleaning up their rentals and camps. But I just want to show I'm getting everything. I'm basically going from this direction. The wind seems to be working with me today, going that way off the lake. There's nasty digging. I was going to go get my edger, but I'm going to try to shape this before we bark mulch it. I think it'll look a lot nicer. And I'm just using a shovel because there's root systems of trees that were taken down, and the stumps were never pulled. They had a microburst go through here. I think it was three summers ago, and took down so many trees. He really doesn't want to keep taking trees down unless we absolutely have to, because the big thing that rents this is people like the idea. They feel like they're out in the woods. So I mean, it's pretty ugly trees that are left here, but I understand where he's coming from. I did this garden, I want to say 3 summers ago, and we kind of cleaned it out. It hadn't been cleaned for, he's thinking like 7 to 12 years. And I don't know who did his fall cleanup, but they basically took all the leaves and blew them up against this house. And if you can see the holes that the chipmunks made. I mean, that's a good way to get your house full of rodents. I'm going to let them know, whoever did that, they can't keep doing it. It's kind of crazy anyways. You blow your leaves, there's a wood line over there. If you don't want to pick them out, blow them into the wood line, not next to the house. He has a hard time getting like a maintenance guy. And that's why everything's overgrown. Gardens are weeded up. I'm going to try to give it a good facelift for him while I'm here doing other stuff. This guy's given me a lot of work over the years, so I'm going to try to do right by him. This is stuff I don't normally do anymore. But I also think this is the stuff that will keep me above ground and young. Or kill me. We'll find out in a few years. But like I said, this is known. People that rent here rent them as rustic cabins. Even this house is, I believe this camp is like early 1900s. And inside it's still all the old barn board floors and everything. It's kind of cool. But I just figured I'd say where we're at this point, and I'm just going to keep on going and get the stuff to the end of this tennis court where it's easy to pick up. I don't have a leaf loader. I don't do this type of stuff enough. What I'm going to do is get it all in that corner. I think Monday I'm coming back here. I'm going to bring the 2501 with an oversized bucket on it, and I'm just going to pick it up with that, throw it in the dump trailer. This is the only one I got to pick up. Everything else up on that hill has got wood lines you can blow everything into. I'm calling it for today. I just want to show I got the bulk of this picked up. And like I said, people that have been renting here, I guess have been coming for quite a few years. They like the rustic look, so nothing has to be pristine, and they want to feel like they're in the woods. So we'll bark mulch it once, weed it, and then after that he just kind of has a older guy that does maintenance for him. They'll pick at it a little bit. But I'm going to knock that grass down Monday over there, and probably neaten that garden. There's a couple broken limbs still over there I got to deal with. Just peak today, so I'm stopping. But we're going to probably do more of a uniform line on a garden in front of that house. I'm going to shape this one in so it looks a little bit better. And I got to give them a price on doing something with that retaining wall. In the front of this, that microburst storm that came through a few years back, we did a major revamp on the front walls. Some were mortared in rock, some were wood. I ended up redoing the docks and everything. We got to neaten this up a little bit. Like I said, that retaining wall down there is just going to be cosmetic. He wants it to look good because a lot of people walk by it to get down to the water. I'm going to walk down through and show you, like, I dug these ditches out a few years ago, and I just try to get it so that the water can run into them. And before I grade the roads, I always blow the leaves off. I'm going to suggest cleaning up the ditch lines again. And but this is kind of a weird, at one time I believe one family owned all of this, and now it's been separated. Like the one I'm working on now has 5 rental cabins plus the main house. These other ones are all single camps to the left. On the right there's still one I'm going to be working on a week from now that's got 1 rental behind it. But like a situation like this, I tried to blow all the leaves this way onto this guy's property because I don't want to get any grief blowing the leaves that way. But I believe the property line is literally where these trees are planted. And I didn't blow those up in there. There was a big pile here. I kind of split the pile and blew it out into this wood line all the way down through. But I just want to show people in this part of New Hampshire on the lakefronts. And this is actually a big lot compared to what I'm normally working on. I'm working on lots sometimes that are only like 65 feet by 85 feet. And there's a tree line. Like they redid that camp 2 or 3 seasons ago. And like I said, the property line, they just planted some spruce trees. And then it goes down through. You got like little cavities where you can get rid of leaves. And then now, like I said, you look up the road and he just wants the entrance to these rentals to look better. Plus I got to clean up everything here so that I can reflower the bins. And I've made it all the way up the hill to this point, so I'm trying to get down through today and get rid of the rest of this, and then tomorrow we'll go down to the house and we got to do some of the gardens. I just ran the second tank of gas through that backpack blower just so we get an idea what my day's been. This morning I had another job to do, so but I really would like to finish this leaf and I don't know what you want to call leaves and pine needles and broken sticks clean up today, because they're talking a pretty rainy week after today. I'm just trying to work around the weather and get the bulk of their list done this week. But I believe they're saying 2 days of heavy rain. I do have road work. I can probably do some ditching. I'm trying to slow down a little bit this year, but this ain't the good time of year to do it. I mean, the first 6 or 8 weeks of spring for any landscaper up here is just crazy busy. So, all right, I'm gonna get back to it. We've done all the leaf blowing and pickup we're gonna do. They gave me the okay on all the bark mulch. I don't really do cleanups anymore like this. I've always come in and done different things for this guy, but we're going to be coming in, keeping care of the weed issue, maybe recut the edges of the gardens that were put in a few years ago. I think we're also going to try to get rid of a little bit more of this grass. It's just a pain in the butt. There's all kinds of like little raised beds. We had weird weather the last couple of years, like I've said in other videos, but they had downpours where a lot of this bark mulch just kind of disappeared. What I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a 6x6 timber and, or maybe a 5x5. There's a company that makes the 5x5s now, pressure treated. It ain't bad, but just put a timber in there and then go around this oak and try to get that to retain a little more, get rid of some more of the crappy grass that's there. He has a heck of a time finding a maintenance guy that will come in here and weed whack. None of this is really grass that you'd mow, and he kind of likes, people like the rustic feel with these old cabins, so he doesn't want to put pristine grass in. He also doesn't really want the maintenance of having someone mow the grass. So we're just going to try to clean up the gardens again, you know, put some new mulch around the hostas. I might actually make more of a uniform shaped with timbers or rocks or something. They kind of left it open to me. Down here we got to clean up the gardens. There's one of the neighbor's dogs comes over here and pisses on those bushes. I'm just going to say it the way it is, but some of those bushes that are going over there that are yellowed, they said it's definitely from the, that's what I said, and she said she's actually witnessed it happening. So there's 2 or 3 bushes over there we got to replace. That corner garden, a lot of blueberries on that waterfront. This was all something I did quite a few years back now, 4 or 5 years ago now, redoing some of these retaining walls. We're going to come down here, same thing. We'll probably make those look like a little more uniform shape, but we'll get it looking a little bit nicer than it does now. Everybody's happy that comes up here to rent. They're up on the, it's hard not to like that lake. And like I said, when you rent the camps with him, you're allowed to bring a boat and leave the boat in while you're here. This camp to the left of me gets rented all summer long by one person just escaping the city. She's been coming up, I think this is going to be like 6 or 7 years. I think there's 2 of the camps that they normally get rented out, I think by the week, by weeks anyway. It's never like a 1 or 2 day thing, I don't believe. But I just figured I'd take a shot. We're at this point. I got the okay today. We're gonna be redoing all these planters, and last year I did those planters, and something I added to those gardens, they liked it. People really liked it that rented. I had a heck of a time getting flowers. I had to go to like, I don't know, 6 different greenhouses, I think. So I told them I'd like to get the stuff early. I do have some stuff at my house. We do have a greenhouse, but for the most part we do food stuff. We did flowers some last year. We did some this year, not a lot. But the connection I got with like 4 or 5 different greenhouses, me personally, I don't think my daughter likes doing the flowers, but I'm smarter to buy. When I buy a big shipment from a commercial greenhouse, I don't think it's worth me having them. Last year, early in the year, I had so much going on. I was literally just going in and getting I'd bring like my 14-foot dump trailer and my dump truck, and we'd go get a major load of stuff, and I just went through it. I'm actually going to go to one of the greenhouses tonight. Now I got the green light. I'm doing the rest of the stuff here, and see if I can get some more stuff tonight before it disappears. Just thought I'd take a shot this morning. Some of this is going with us. It's 5 different camps, and they all have a theme that's different, is what they want to try to do. So that's what a lot of them flowers are for. And we still got to go grab some stuff. We're going to go tonight and look a couple more places. I see what I think is a good looking pepper plant or tomato plant. I always grab them. So we're gonna have plenty of tomatoes and peppers this year, I can tell you that. I just want to show, you buy these big wheelbarrows and pay pretty good money for them. And as far as buying them local in a store, like a big box store, I guess you'd say, you can't seem to find these with like the run flat tires on them. That wheelbarrow is probably 2 years old. I've already put tubes in 2 of the tires. And every year, I mean, it's 2 years old, and you look at, I hope the camera will show, but they're pretty cracked up. But they don't put much of a tire on these for the money. Just bought that one at Lowe's. It does seem like that tub's made a little bit better than most plastic ones. I don't know, just it's aggravating to a company like me. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I only get 4 or 5 years out of a wheelbarrow anyways, and you'll bend the handle. They just don't make stuff like they used to. But I discussed this with the only reason I'm doing this on video is I discussed it with my daughter yesterday. We're on a site. We put both those in the truck because this is the time of year we do a lot of bark mulching. And by the time we got to the job site, that had 2 flat tires on it. I just wanted to show this morning what we're doing. I'm going to replace it. These are Marathon universal fit, pretty much solid rubber. These are the ones I used in my greenhouse. They're 2-wheeler tire, but these are solid. But I've had some for a couple years now in the greenhouse. They don't seem to get affected from the high heat. Something's going to mess up a piece of plastic or rubber, it would be inside the greenhouse. But I just figured I'd show. I'm going to put these on this morning. They make it, they put that size bearing in it. But they give you the shims, like if you, depending on what you're doing with it. There's one that's open. These ones here had other size bearings if you need them. Like it goes up to a 3/4 rod. I knew I had to have 1/2 inch. There weren't many left last night when I got these at Lowe's also. Hopefully these work out. I've seen some of them. I mean, there's a company that makes the yellow ones that you can supposedly, then contract the ones. But I mean, you start paying $68 to $98 a tire. It's kind of, I mean, that's gonna, when I put those tires on that today, that's gonna turn into probably close to a $400 wheelbarrow between the original cost and maybe a little bit better than 400. I know I'm not the only customer that's probably pretty ticked off. You get like 2 years out of something like that, and your tires are no good. And I mean, if you look at the quality of these front tires, it's just, that's getting run on grass all the time too. It ain't like I'm being rough with it construction wise. It's basically, we put bark mulch in the back of that trailer, work off the back of the trailer with these wheelbarrows, and just irritating. But I thought I'd make it part of this video and show you my fix to it. Very expensive fix. It's aggravating too because I greased those yesterday and everything, it's like thinking it will work and it doesn't. Now I gotta figure out all the shim kits. I got the front ones on. I put the plastic shims that come with the wheels of it. I think I'm gonna make up, I didn't have the right size tube, but I think I'm gonna actually take time. I need it this morning. We're doing probably one of the bigger bark mulch jobs we're doing this week, definitely. So I want both wheelbarrows there. But I think later this week I'm going to make up a steel tube that will take the place of all that plastic. The back ones I think are going to fit right on without a shim. I mean, it's too bad they take that piece of crap rim and tire and put a nice bearing in it. That bearing I think's got plenty of life, but I also, you can see that I do grease them, which makes a big difference. I think companies would be surprised, like what people would pay to get good stuff. I think I'm gonna go down and get a, I think I got a skinnier Teflon nut. If I do, I'm gonna put a skinnier one on this. Took me a while to find them, but I had a more shallow Teflon nut for the back wheel. But now that should be a decent wheelbarrow. I think that's like a 10.5 cubic foot one. I mean, it's awesome. And we also have these gray buckets you'll see in my videos. That's how we bring a lot of bark mulch into areas. I don't like the fact you buy a $200 and something wheelbarrow and 2 years later you got to put another $100 and something with tires on it. Another thing about these get used a lot for the next 4 weeks, and then after that they just get thrown in the lean-to, unless I come up with a big job. But like I said, there's certain situations I use these on. Other than that, they sit around a lot, but I do put them away. Tractor Supply, if they're watching, I think it's called Groundworks. I've got one that's a Groundworks one. That's a 10.5 cubic foot. I think the Groundworks one's like an 8 1/4 or something like that, cubic feet. But that's, I ain't that old, and the sun got to it. That's one I didn't put away. I leave it up here so when I need to take it. So it did sit here a couple summers, but I basically flipped it over a week ago and it cracked the whole bottom out because it was brittle. But you'd think something that they make, Tractor Supply pushes this stuff for farm use, which I'm going to say is the same as contractor use. But what good is it? I mean, you know, a farm's not putting that thing away it stays in the sun. I would rather see them start carrying a better product and get another $100 out of it or more. You know, I like to think if they're buying a couple thousand of them to distribute through their business, that they could get them cheap. But I would rather pay $100 more for that wheelbarrow and have those type of rims and tires on it from the factory. And they're out there. I mean, my daughter looked yesterday. You can order one online, and then the shipping kills you because something like that big. No, I noticed there was no free shipping on any of them that I found, so, unless you made a real big order. If you were ordering like 8 of them, like a big landscape company maybe. There was some deals, but ordering one, there was no shipping deals. The shipping cost on everything. I just had a screen sent to me for my Easy Screen screener, and it was over $200 to get it shipped to you. It's ridiculous. And the guy from Easy Screen on the phone, I called him up. I said, "You're kidding, right?" And he goes, "No." He said, I can ship you a whole machine on a flatbed truck. You know, I don't know if that's a hot shot trucking or what, but he said, I can ship you a screener for about the same price as that screen. Because the screen's just big enough so it's considered oversized, I guess. All right, we're going to get back to it. I just thought I'd make this part of the video. Call it a rant or whatever you want, but I like to think someone else feels the same way I do. We're going to load up for today. I need a pretty good chunk of this bark mulch. Another thing I do, if I'm going to do a small job, you'll see the gray barrels I showed earlier in the video. I'll fill a bunch of those gray barrels and just throw them in one of these dump trailers, take it with me, rather than dump it on the ground, handle it twice, or work out of the back of this trailer. If I'm going somewhere where I know I got to have it in buckets, I'd just soon put it in buckets here and throw it in the truck or trailer. So, all right, we'll get back to it. All right, I just want to show, they were nervous back here about someone falling off that. I guess there used to be a hot tub there, and this deck had a real weird shape to it. I kind of squared it up, used scrap material that he had around up underneath one of the other camps, and came up with that. All I ended up bringing was a few 2x4s. Other than that, the 6x6s and that other stuff was just scraps that I had around, he had around. But no one's going to be walking off that. I guess the idea is the camp next to this didn't like the smoke from grills, so the people that rent this front big house, they put a gas grill down there, and that's where they ask them to do their cooking. And this big building here doesn't really have any open windows on this side, so it doesn't affect them, so they put the gas grill. And I just made a little bit friendlier of a step. You used to step off onto some cinder blocks that were pretty much, must have been in the lake for years. They were just about disintegrated, so I just kept care of that for them. There's a couple guys here doing carpentry stuff, but they didn't have time to deal with it, so I did that real quick. And I also shored up these steps by putting pavers under them. They were kind of like tipping forward, but they're trying to, I think probably insurance company said you got to kind of dummy proof the place and get rid of the tripping hazards like that. Stuck up a few inch and a half higher than that, so we put a little bit of stone and stone dust there. I've cut this edge so it looks a little bit better, and what I did over here is just a quick retaining wall. Looks better than what was there caving in. We were gonna put some plantings in it, but like I said, this is a rental property and they really don't want any more upkeep, so a little bit of digging I had to do with a shovel to get those first ones in. And what I normally do is put a piece of 24-inch rebar in the bottom 2 tiers that I start, and then the rest is anchored in pretty good. So, and like I said, that's only retaining the little bit of loom I put in there. I did put loom, so if they do decide to plug plant it with something later on, we can. I think in the fall we're going to be lifting this little tiki hut or whatever they call it. It's basically like a little game room with a bar in it. I believe that'll be a future video. This fall we're going to probably lift that, and it's got a rock foundation under it right now that's failing pretty bad. He thinks this is probably the last summer they're going to get out of it. Other carpenters that come here are telling them to tear the place down and start over, but it's actually in real good shape other than the bottom 12 inches. So I think I'm going to lift it, jack it up about 2 feet, and then I'm just going to put sonotubes and put a couple beams. I'm probably going to rebuild the whole bottom 12 inches of it, floor and all. And I'll come up with some oak from my sawmill, and we'll probably just redo the floors all with oak. And then I think I got enough around right now probably to do that whole thing with oak on the bottom. But that'll be a future video. But this got cleaned up a little bit better than it was. And I don't know what we're going to do. The well to all these camps is right there. I'm going to come up with something. I don't know what. I might actually get a couple whiskey barrels, put one upside down and then one on top of it. Like you said, they really don't have to get in that unless there is an issue. So I might just put a planter on top of it, and just so they know where it is. Other than that, we're coming along. My daughter came today and got all the flowers in place for the most part, and started doing the bark mulch up there. Down here I'm pretty much done, other than going around with some weed killer and maybe do a little more weeding, and then I'm going to be working on those camps up there until the end of the week. But everything here is rented as of 10:30 Friday, and I want to be out of here before then. I'm going to walk through this house. This is one I've been working on for quite a few years now. I'll give you an idea. This is our early 1900s house. I'm going to say it's kind of dated, but that's what people like about it. It's got upgraded. They put a new oven and stuff like that in, but overall this is still the old style. replaced the windows, but like I said, the lake's out front. I don't talk money on this channel, but this rents per week for about 4 times what I thought it would. People just love being up here. And other than that, it's the old original. This is all original from day one. The floors, fireplaces. I don't believe you're allowed to use the fireplace. You know, they've updated. They're putting a washer and dryer in here to make it easier on the people right now. Plumber's still working on that. Just got a stand-up shower. I believe upstairs there was still a clawfoot tub, but most people don't really want to use that. But like I said, just, that's a copy of one of the original windows, I guess it was there. But it's an Anderson. He thinks it got replaced back in the late 80s. But looking at old pictures, that is what the old window looked like. And like I said, most of the trim in this house is all original. I figured I'd just do a quick walk around. Kind of a rustic look. Got the skeleton of a boat above that with lights for the table. But you can kind of understand, you do get cool days up here in the fall when this is being rented, so it does have a fireplace, a wood stove in that fireplace that you are allowed to use. It's also got gas heat. But I just thought I'd take a quick, people are always asking me, hey, take a look. And believe it or not, I've learned a little bit of history this year on this. This house used to be connected to that house. I guess back when this was built originally, this was a medical facility for people that had breathing issues. They would send them up here from Boston and stuff like that, and they would stay up here on the lake and just the better air. So this, at one time, I guess, was considered a medical facility, and there used to be, through this door, there was a hallway that connected to that, and that's where the kitchen was, and the staff stayed there. In the summer. So that was all staff that ran the medical facility, and this was all the patients that were over here at one time. I believe that's what this was originally built for. And then over the years, it's been everything from rentals to the guy I work for now that has it. It's always been a rental to him. He does live in one, but it's always been a rental situation. The people that had this before him called it their family compound. I guess the parents stayed in this big house, and all the camps behind it and beside it were where the kids and grandkids would stay. I guess they had it for quite a few years. I think maybe since the 80s. But like I said, that's the one next door. They just did a bunch of work to that the last 2 summers. The original part, the smaller roof line, is all brand new. They had to rebuild, but that's the original shape and pretty much of what the original building was. This is actually the original from, like I said, it's early 1900s, I guess. But there used to be a hallway that went from here to that. There was a structure where this was all one piece. Pretty much at one time, this property, the one to the left of it, and 2 to the right were all one property when it was a medical facility. I believe is the story behind it. The guy that owns it now has learned quite a bit of history on it, and that's who told me that. So, but it's interesting property. It's probably one of the neater ones I work on. I like being out here. Number one, no one's out here bothering you until it's rented. So you got to come out here, get what you got to do done, and get out of here. Friday at 10:30, you will not be able to turn around down here even with a small vehicle. Forget a truck with a trailer. So I got to get done. I got one more day after today to work on this, but I got all the weed issue kept care of around the big house. These gardens are done. There's still a lot of droppings coming off the trees and bushes and shrubs and all that, so it'll look all right once the next time someone takes a leaf blower. It'll clean up a little bit more, but all the flowers are falling off that, and there's still a lot of stuff falling out of the trees. But I replaced the shrubs over there that had to get replaced because of a dog issue. Pretty much I'm all the way up to this point. I just threw some timbers in on this side. That was the least inexpensive way. Got rid of a little more of the grass. I've used a weed killer underneath. Near the lakes you got to be a little careful what you do, so I just use a strong white vinegar and water mix. It tends to take them out. What I'm going to do is treat this with a product called Critter Ritter. Other than that, the chipmunks and squirrels and everything will dig this right up. You can already see in the back there's a spot where they dug into it for something. This left side of the tree, this stone there, and I believe years ago someone put some heavy 1.5-inch stone, because this lot just keeps climbing up to the neighbor's lot. And I don't know if you can see that cabin in the back, but it's quite a bit higher than this one. All that water runs right down through, so I'm gonna bring in a load of 1.5-inch stone. He wants me to dress the driveways a little bit more. Down near the big house we're going to use regular gravel, 3/4 gravel, but all these small driveways he just wants to give them another dressing of 3/4 stone. Same thing, I sprayed them this morning with weed killer. I'll do it one more time. What I normally do is mix this stone in with a little bit of gray stone dust, and it just deters stuff from growing in it anyways. But we got that one ready to rent. This one is, my daughter came in yesterday and helped me do a little bit of weeding. Got the flowers all in place. Like I said, we don't go crazy. He wants to keep it simple, but he wants something where people kind of remember and want to come back, which is apparently the case, because most of the time these are rented to the same people every year. Like I said, he rents them weeks at a time too. It's not like a day thing or weekend. Most of these are rented for, I think, 4 or 5 weeks at a time. But we got to just weed this. The hostas, I don't have time. We were going to actually pop those and make it more of a garden raised bed type thing. I just haven't got time before these are rented, so we're going to let that probably go till next year. But the plan is, as time goes on, we're going to get rid of more and more of the grass. But my daughter got all the flowers in place yesterday, and like I said, once we get this weeded, it's just a matter of doing some gravel work to the road and driveways. But I just figured I'd take a shot while we're at this point. Overall, like I said, it's looking pretty good. And once it's rented, this place gets a pretty good run between the kids running around and everything else. They don't step on the plants, but this bark mulch and the driveway itself just gets beat up. The seats down there that have planters in them, my wife's doing those today in the greenhouse. I'm just gonna have to bring those tomorrow and drop them in place. But I want to do that stone. Like I said, we're gonna clean up the stone down there, re-gravel the driveway on the right, and then we'll put those in place. What them basically are is he puts them along that side, so if someone backs out of the parking spots on the other side, they're not driving over and hitting somebody. That's where the kids tend to play, and he's just nervous of it, so we put those there, and they do get hit. Sad truth. Alright, I just want to show, I cut that turf out a little bit with the BX this morning. Put 4 yards of gravel, then 4 yards of 3/4 stone over the top. Gives you a little bit more distinctive looking for parking. And it squares up the lawn, just easier to maintain for the guy that comes in and does that. We also got 3, my wife did the other 3 I'm going to grab after lunch. We'll put those in place over here to stop people from backing in there when they back out of these spots. But I brought the little BX with me. I'm going to try to clean up the parking area a little bit. Alright, we're going to call this job here. I'm just going to do a quick final walk around up top here. Everything up here is done. Bark mulch is done. Again, I'm going to say, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And any questions, don't be afraid to say something on YouTube too. I answer about everybody that asks a question. I get back to fairly quick. This is just some of the stuff we do. Been a few years doing it now. Thanks for watching.